Something came up in a session today that I thought was a good talking point because this has come up multiple times. It's about when we are having an acute experience of something, something feels off in our body. We got a little cold, flu, maybe period, maybe not quite sure what's going on, but do we eat food if we are not hungry? So I have had multiple experiences with this, and I also wanted to talk about the cultural experiences around the world with this as well. So, first off, when we are digesting food, we use over 50% of our body's energy just on digestion alone. So, when we see dogs and cats, our pets that are not feeling well, they typically won't eat their food. They'll just leave it in their bowl. They'll oftentimes go find their bed or a corner, go lie down and not really do much for a couple days because they're conserving their energy. So they don't have to go to work, they don't have to worry about making phone calls, answering emails, getting the kids to and from wherever. They can just lie there and rest, and they oftentimes don't eat. And that is because they are conserving their body's energy so that it can go into healing. So now that 50% plus of energy that usually goes into digestion is going into fighting off whatever's in the system, repairing injuries, cellular regeneration, detox. So the body can just naturally do this. Now, again, this is for an acute thing that's coming on, not, for long-standing chronic things, obviously. It's just, I think, learning to listen to our bodies and say, is my body really, I'm not hungry. We're so conditioned to, especially in the United States, eat 3 meals a day. That's what we need to do. And we see this now with intermittent fasting, and other things, that there are other ways to operate, that we don't have to eat on the schedule, that, we're not going to be harmed if we miss a meal or if we miss a couple meals. As hunter-gatherers, our bodies were adapted. They know they can adapt to not having food all the time. Sometimes we would go a couple days, or even longer without food, and our bodies would go into its natural processes to help us to find that food, to, detox the body. And then we look at cultures around the world and see that a lot of times there are places where once a month people will do a fast, and just not eat or have a very light something, for a while. A lot of times seasonally, different cultures will do different versions of fasting. The other thing is that the foods that are available to us now, in the grocery store, are pretty much always available. So we have, fruits and vegetables always available. We have all the box processed stuff, frozen stuff that's always available. And before we had modern grocery stores with this just convenience, we were eating seasonal foods. So we would go through the winter and we'd eat certain foods. We'd go through the spring and eat certain foods, summer and eat certain foods. And our bodies would go through a natural kind of rhythm of fasting on certain things. We don't really want to eat as many heavy, dense foods in the summer. And in the winter, we don't eat as many fruits, they're not available, or even certain vegetables other than root vegetables, those wouldn't be available. So these are just the natural rhythms that our body would normally go through. So, when I am noticing, if I'm kind of just I'm really not hungry, whether it's from something acute that's going on and I feel like maybe I'm starting to fight something off, or really, in some acute thing that's happening, or I'm just not really feeling hungry. And as women in our moon cycles, we also have that additional aspect of things. So certain times of the month, we might feel really ravenously hungry, and it's time to eat. It's time to allow ourselves to eat, especially if we're craving something specific, and moderating, is this something that I actually need, or am I going overboard with emotional eating? That is a component of it separate as well. But what is my body needing right now? Because there are some days where I'm just not hungry, I'm just I don't feel like I need to eat. And then other days I'm eating twice as much as I would eat on other days. So it's just the intuitive part of it, tapping in, allowing ourselves to feel into what we need at different times, and not making things wrong, you know. It's like not being so really concerned about it. If it's becomes a long-standing thing, that's a different issue. But if it's like I feel like I might be fighting something off, I feel just off, or I know I'm in a certain part of my cycle, that, you know, it's okay to just allow our bodies to be in that, you know, because whatever processes are happening internally, we might not really know, but our bodies are intelligent, so they are telling us something very specific. So we can just listen to them and, you know, see what they have to say, feel into the body. This is all the somatic practices, you know, really learning to feel into what our needs are. Let me know down below if there's anything that you really feel, you know, into or out of, you know, at certain points in time. If you have noticed these fluctuations, or what you do when you're not feeling well. And give this video a like if it was something that helped you. Help get this video out to other people. Let me know that you like the content. And if you're interested in coaching, the links are down below if you'd like to set up a consultation to see how we could best work together. All right, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.